Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review on To All the Boys I've Loved Before. This was a highly requested book for me to read, especially considering the Netflix film that is coming up with it, or featuring it, that was inspired by it. So I definitely read it, and I have some thoughts, so I thought that I would make a video on it. I will say though, I was thinking about not making this video just because I don't necessarily have a ton to say about it. So this is probably going to be quite a short one, but I know that a lot of people commented requesting me to read it, so I just feel like I should put something up about it. So yeah, if you want to know my thoughts, then just keep on watching. Alright, so also this video is going to be full of spoilers. If you want to read this book, don't watch this video because I'm literally about to drop the biggest plot bombs ever in about 30 seconds. So yeah, if you want to read it, exit out of this video, go read the book, and then come back. Alright, so for people who haven't read the book and still want to watch the spoiler section, the story follows a girl whose name I cannot remember, who, to get over boys, she will write love letters and then put them in a hat box that her mom gave her, and her mom is now dead. She lives in a family of 3 sisters and her dad, and her sister is dating a boy named Josh, I think, that she just broke up with, and it turns out that the girl was always in love with Josh before Josh started dating his sister. So she had actually written a love letter to Josh to get over him a really long time ago. And then I believe she writes another one recently because she realizes that she might still have feelings for him. Unfortunately, one day all of her letters suddenly disappear, as well as the hat box, and they get sent out. She has no idea who sent them out, but there were 5 letters in total, and I think it was 3 people didn't get them, or no, okay, it was Josh got one, a football player got one, or it was lacrosse. I can't remember. And then Josh got one, or no, I said Josh, another guy who ended up being gay. So 2 of the other letters, for one reason or another, I believe one was someone from camp and their address changed, and then I can't remember why the 4th one didn't work. But basically the only people that really were affected by the letter enough for it to be like awkward and cause drama were Josh and the other guy. So just 2 out of the 5. For sake of clarity, lacrosse guy is named Peter, and then Josh is the sister's ex-boyfriend. So the sister at this point has now moved to Scotland for school. That's why she broke up with Josh. And Josh was really, really close with the family, and he was also really good friends with the main girl, whose name is Laura Jean. So they continue to kind of hang out, but then after the letters, it obviously kind of screws everything up. So Laura Jean decides that to show Josh that she's not into him anymore, she throws herself at Peter in the hallway, and Peter and her agree eventually to fake a relationship. And the reason Peter agrees is because he's trying to make his ex-girlfriend jealous. So they get together, they are faking the relationship, and obviously that comes with a bunch of drama and all that kind of stuff. That's about as much as you really get in this book, and it's one of those things where I do feel, I thought this was going to be one book. I've totally forgot that there are 2 other books in this series, and quite honestly, I think this book could have been wrapped up in one book very nicely. I don't know if that's because I just didn't really feel connected with the book. I was reading it and just couldn't really connect with it. I feel like some of the really great concepts in the book just weren't really touched upon that much. And I feel like the whole letter thing, that was pretty much the only reason why I ended up grabbing the book, even though I was quite apprehensive, was basically resolved within the first quarter of the book. I'm not saying that the book was bad, it's just that it wasn't amazing. I read the book and I was like, okay, I'd give this a 3 out of 5. Not because it was bad, but just because I just kind of read it almost passively, because I feel like I've read this story before with a fake relationship, and the person loves the sister's ex-boyfriend, and she loved her before the sister even did, you know? I also really hope that with 3 books, that doesn't mean that Laura Jean is going to end up with Josh, because quite honestly, I think Laura Jean should be with Peter. I thought that they were a lot better matched up together, especially because he's not her sister's ex-boyfriend. And at the end of the book, Laura Jean and Peter are kind of like having a scuff, and then you don't really know what happens. I just don't get how that can stretch over for another 2 books. That just seems like a lot of chapters for what I think could be solved in like maybe you're stretching it 2 books. There were also elements of the story that just kind of were annoying. Like, at one point, Peter's ex is talking shit about Laura Jean on a bus, and Laura Jean can see the girl going from person to person whispering this rumor, and Laura Jean just sits there and starts crying, like, against the windowsill. I don't understand why she wouldn't defend herself, like, stuff like that. And then her flinging herself with a guy in the high school was just like, what? At this point, she hadn't even talked to Peter about the fake relationship thing. It was just like, what am I reading? But I think above all, the one concept that I was the most disappointed wasn't really made into a focal point of the book was, at one point, Peter says to Laura Jean, you are something along the lines of, you are afraid of love and denial to the point where if someone who is interested in you becomes interested in you, you shy away and completely find a different love interest because you can't handle it. And you create these fictional kind of, I don't know, people to love so that you don't have to deal with real life emotions and love, which I think is a very real thing. And I thought that would be such a great thing to be a major point in the book, but it ended up not being. I don't know if maybe in the next two books it's touched upon more, because I think that's a very common trait in a lot of people in real life. And I've never really seen it talked about that much in books, apart from like just fleeting mentions of it. I think that would have been a great element to this book that would have made it very unique. But they just didn't. And I wish that they had. I don't know if anyone's read the full series. Let me know if they do mention that throughout the book, because I genuinely can't figure out how they can have two other full books about this story. It just kind of feels like it maybe needs another 100 pages and it's done. For that reason, obviously, I don't think I'm going to be continuing this series. I don't want people to think that I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't hate the book. This isn't a rant review. This is just me wanting to sit and discuss the book, because I'm not really underwhelmed, because I didn't think it was going to be anything crazy good. I think it's going to make an incredible Netflix movie. I think this is a perfect storyline for a movie. But at the same time, I just don't think that I have the interest to be able to read another 2 books on it. So, yeah. In closing, if any of you guys have read the series and could let me know if she does actually talk a bit more about her struggles with being in relationships with people and how that reflects on how she views herself, then I think I would totally end up actually picking up the other 2 books. But if it is just kind of the continued love triangle, then I'm probably not going to read it, just because it does echo a lot of YA books I read when I was younger, and there's nothing wrong with them. It's just I've kind of grown out of that now, and I have read pretty much every single version of that kind of book. So even with the concept slightly being different at the beginning, once you kind of get over that letter thing, it's kind of the same as everything else. So yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know so many of you guys recommended this to me, and I want to make sure you guys don't feel like I'm bashing the book or bashing you because you like it. It was a good book. It just, I don't think is for me. It's just, I really liked these books back when I was younger. But it's just one of those things where I think I just read so many when I was younger that I'm a little bit tired of them. So if you did enjoy the book, don't worry about my opinion. It's really not significant in any stretch of the means. But if you did enjoy the video, feel free to like it, feel free to subscribe, and comment down below what you guys thought of the book if you read it, whether you loved it or you hated it, or you're kind of in the middle like me. Let me know your thoughts, and if you want to follow me outside of YouTube, you can. I am on Twitter and Instagram, which are both Casey Aonso, as well as Goodreads, which is also Casey Aonso. I'm going to make sure I link that in my description because I always forget. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.